Assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Maulana, and to the listeners of Radio Islam, I trust you're all doing well today.
All well, alhamdulillah. So, look, we've had previous discussions, and you've covered quite a bit of ground in the latest document that you've released in a Q&A format. So there's very specific areas that I would want your response on. The one is that we spoke earlier on to Sheikh Imran Saban from TWF, and you may have heard us speaking to Muhammad Tariq. Both of them are raising concerns around the consultative process. They feel that SAHUK was not consultative enough when it came to from the time you received the original letter up to the time of the announcement. And more importantly, Sheikh Imran is saying now that they viewed the letter, they feel that SAHUK did not mention to the public and to the travel operators certain aspects of that letter, which actually leave room for negotiation around the matter. It's not as clear-cut as SAHUK made it sound initially, and neither does it say that SAHUK has to fulfill this one entity role. It could be another party altogether. Your comments on that, Hafiz Moaz?
Maulana, first and foremost, I think there was a lot of rumors in the public domain within the travel fraternity with regards to the quota reduction, with regards to possibly SAHUK being called the Hajj mission or the Hajj Affairs Office in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia that's going to be bringing the pilgrims. We then call up a meeting with the travel operators. The recording of the meeting that we shared with all the travel operators was the exact two documentation that we've read out. There were 16 points on the preliminary guidelines, and there was another official letter from the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah. We've read out word for word in the meeting with the travel operators. We explained to them, here's the documentation. They came and viewed it. TWF representative viewed it. And we also told them, as per the recording which you have in your possession, here's the documentation. Tell us if there's any inconsistency or anything that is stated incorrectly. There's nothing that is incorrectly stated in the meeting, which they have the minutes. And if we want to share to the public, we'll share the minutes to the public. We got no problem because we've said word for word exactly verbatim as per what is documented. The thing is, people need to understand, we are called South African Hajj and Umrah Council. It is known in South Africa. The Ministry of Hajj and Umrah calls us the South African Hajj Affairs Office of the South African Mission. It's the same entity, and it stipulates in the document it is obligation for the service provider company, which is Saudi-based, and the Hajj Affairs Office of South Africa to fulfill the mandate of the requirements in terms of Hajj going forward. We've agreed with the ministry, and I think the operators are fully aware of it. They've seen the documents, and it's surprising that they claim that they weren't aware and we did not consult them. We kept on telling them prior to meeting with them that the moment we get this official letter from the ministry, we will set up a meeting and we'll talk to you and we'll provide the operators first with the listening, and then we will go to the public domain.
So coming back to that letter, right, I think the one aspect that we require clarity on is that Sheikh Imran was saying that their interpretation of that letter is that there's room for negotiation and that there could still be a possibility that travel agents could play a part beyond what SAHUK has said, where only as subcontractors. Is that true, number one? And number two, I know previously you've explained, and you explained in your Q&A communique as well, that you don't want to release the physical letter because it will leak and then the ministry will rebuke you because it's unprecedented in other countries. But considering how much of controversy has now been generated, is it not in SAHUK's interest to release those letters to the public and then to explain to the ministry why you had to do so? Because now, you're getting different interpretations coming piecemeal from different role players.
Maulana, we are inquiring from the ministry if we can disseminate that information or take out, basically cut and paste the contents of the letters and then share it in a public domain so that everyone can read it for themselves. But I think it's very clear. We've met with service providers in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We've met with hotels, in person as well as online. All of them have basically informed us the role of the operator in the past is now changed. And where an operator used to go to the kingdom to acquire accommodation, that can no longer happen. Even we as SAHUK cannot go to hotels and obtain pricing and obtain packages. This has to be done by the Saudi service provider company. And everybody is aware of it. The Ministry of Hajj is aware of it. The hotels are aware of it. The service provider companies who we're engaging with, who we have to sign an agreement with, are basically telling us the exact same thing. All they are telling us is, look, you as SAHUK, as the body, can come to Saudi Arabia. We will sit with you with the hotels, or you can bring an operator that's under you. We go to the hotels, we negotiate pricing, we negotiate packages, but we are the entity that is now going to be responsible for contracting for your housing as well as your transportation. You do not have that rights any longer, neither does your travel operators. I don't know what people don't understand about it. We've been told clearly by the ministry, we've been told clearly by the service providers, and we've also informed the operators. We've met with operators personally and we've informed them of this. We've also told them, if you have contacts within the hotels and you believe that you can bring the pricing down, then come forward to SAHUK. Tell us. The room is open. We're not closing our door with any operators.
The other issue, Abizab, is that about constitutional legitimacy or mandate, right? So you would have seen the documentation circulating based on question and answers between an MP, I think it's from the DA party, and Minister Lamola, right? Department of International Relations and Cooperation, DERCO. It seems like the interpretation being drawn from that Q&A is that DERCO is saying they've given no mandate to SAHUK. There's no agreement between SAHUK and DERCO. Yes, DERCO does interact with SAHUK, but more as a pilgrim's office, not as a regulator. To be a regulator, you need government sanction. That's the claim. You need to be playing more of a supervisory role. One of the claims is that you're not technically a mission, because mission is only for Muslim majority countries or for Muslim countries. So it comes back to that question. I know it's an age-old question that SAHUK has been dealing with. In your Q&A, you talk about what happened some 30-odd years ago and the late Deputy Minister Aziz Pahad, etc. But as things stand, do you have any formal mandate from DERCO in South Africa? We understand the point you've explained about the Hajj ministry recognizing you. Do you have a mandate as things stand from DERCO, and do you need one, in your opinion?
So, Malana, at this point in time, DERCO does not hold a mandate concerning the organization of Hajj pilgrimage affairs for South Africa. Remember, if they have to intervene with regards to Hajj-related affairs, they have to then mandate all religious bodies in South Africa. Matters pertaining to religious and cultural rights of communities now fall under the jurisdiction of the constitutionally mandated commission, which is a Section 9 institute appointed by the President of the country, which is called the CRL Commission. I think a few years ago, the same detractors in the public domain, as well as certain travel operators and the public at large, were guided by DERCO that we need to consult with the CRL Commission. We had several meetings. We had a mass meeting in Boksburg with regards to detractors, operators, SAHUK, everyone presenting, everyone. We had a workshop about Hajj and what is the way forward for Hajj. So yes, we are consulting with the CRL Commission. We have engaged the CRL Commission. We know what we need to do based on that report from the CRL Commission, and we're working towards correcting whatever needs to be put in place from the CRL Commission. From a government perspective, one needs to ask the question, SAHUK is not a government entity. Everybody knows that. All right. Do you think that the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah will allow an organization like SAHUK to bring the pilgrims from South Africa and to be the responsible entity if the two governments do not agree on such agreement, do not agree on this organization being the representative of the South African Muslim community? So if it was not the case, I think a long time ago that DERCO would probably inform the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah that you can no longer deal with SAHUK as an entity. This has not happened. Or the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah would contact DERCO to say, look, this entity is not the reputable organization for your country. Please replace them. So far, this has not happened.
In the interest of time, right, I just to cover some ground before we run out of time. There are some allegations circulating on social media that Hajj Watch, I think it was, took SAHUK's auditors to the regulatory body twice, and they were fined, suggesting that SAHUK's financials, whilst they may be on the website, are not up to standard. I'm not sure in which year this happened. There's also allegations circulating that you're not a properly constituted non-profit. And here we hear one of your own members saying that their understanding, this is the Sunni Jamiatul Ulama, is that you're going to become now a business entity. What's your response to these allegations?
I mean, first and foremost, Malana, we need to ask ourselves, who is Hajj Watch? Who has mandated Hajj Watch? Who are the members of the organization of Hajj Watch? First and foremost. Secondly, our previous auditors, many, many years ago, people have taken them to IRBA and reported them for whatever irregularities. Those were rectified at the time. SAHUK has changed auditors a few years ago already. We've got new auditors in place. So with regards to that, I don't think I can comment. It's something that The legal team needs to comment with regards to what transpired, what happened at that point in time. But
Was that
nobody
a
was
long time
closed
ago?
down. Yes, it was more than 5-10 years ago, and nobody was fined. Nobody was closed down. Our auditor was still our auditor. He was the same auditor for a lot of the travel operators in South Africa. So they didn't close them down. They may have found certain discrepancies which they have to rectify, which they rectified, and they continued business as normal. I don't think they would be allowed to continue business if they were doing irregularities in the auditing firm. So that is one aspect that has taken place, alhamdulillah. So we're not going to go into too much of those details. I think Hajj Watch has the documentation. They can bring it forward. The auditor who's responsible can respond with regards to the allegations that were put forward for them. So it's something difficult for us to comment now at this point in time.
What about the Sunni Jamiatul Ulama saying you are now going to become a business enterprise?
So, Maulana, it has never been our vision or mission to make profit. We are not here to make profit. SAHUK has never came out in a public domain to say we are here to make money, we are here to profit. For example, every single year for the last few years, we receive the Ministry of Hajj costs and the 5 days cost. What do we do with it? We take the real value and we publish it in a public domain, raw values. We're not there to make profit. If we were having any intention of making any profitability with those costs, we could have put markups and publish it in a public domain. No one would have known about it. And our
So
intention
if indeed the
going
next
forward,
Hajj proceeds, right, where you do now all the travel and all the accommodation, in other words, you do the work of the travel agents, you would be doing it with no markup, no profit.
we will take the costs, raw costs from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We will publish it in a public domain. We have to make a profit. For example, I'm going to give you an example, 5% to cover your costs and your expenses. You have to make some sort of monetary value, whether SAHUK does it, whether an operator does it. But to go exorbitant as what people were making in the past, that's not going to be allowed. That's not going to be tolerated. So even if we have an operator or SAHUK, we are here to bring the cost of Hajj down. And that is our aim, that is our vision and our mission. Profitability is not our business. That's not something that we've signed up for.
All right, lastly, Hafiz, we're almost out of time, right? So you've got one of your own members, the Sunni Jamiatul Ulama, that's aggrieved to the point that they've taken, they've gone legal. You've got someone from within your ranks who's leaking minutes because those minutes have come to the fore. What's your plan of action now? You've got to manage your members internally. You've got travel operators who are not happy, and you've got a public there that are raising issues, some in favor of SAHUK, some against SAHUK. You've got an MP in Parliament raising these issues with DIRCO. What happens now? I understand in the grand scheme of things, we are a small country when it comes to the Hajj ministry in Saudi with a small quota. But this is now raging within our borders. What's your plan of action for the foreseeable future?
Well, first and foremost, with regards to the Sunni Jamiatul Ulama, they're one organization. I think people need to understand who's behind them. We know who's behind them. We know which operators are behind them. We know who's a senior board member and his credentials in society. I think people need to investigate that to find out what is going on behind the scenes. But that's one entity, and I think we will have meetings with them, inshallah, when the right time presents itself. But from SAHUK perspective, we are going to have workshops around the country. We are just waiting for the ministry to officially announce the quota allocations per country. Then we're going to go to Johannesburg, Durban, Cape Town, have open sessions with the public, explain to them the process, explain to them how things are going to unfold. There's been concerns in the public domain. SAHUK is not going to have alim, SAHUK is not going to have mission workers, SAHUK is not going to have medical. That's lies. We have to take spiritual leaders. We have to take mission workers. We have to take medical teams. We will continue doing that with an operator or without an operator. That is something that we've mandated by the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah, and we'll fulfill that mandate. I think so people mustn't be afraid. They must give us the opportunity to unpack and unfold what's about to come. These are early days still. We've got a lot of time. We've got to work with the ministry's timelines, but give us the opportunity to present what is going to happen once we get the official announcements from the Ministry of Hajj.
Afsar, shukran so much for your time and for chatting to us. And we keep the discussion ongoing, inshallah, from Radio Islam's perspective with all the role players in the hope that it will clarify things and people can make informed decisions.
Jazakallah. We're always available to discuss on the radio stations, and we welcome the opportunity to engage the public and enlighten them with regards to the current processes that are taking place. Shukran jazilan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
That's Hafiz Muaz Kasu, President of SAHUK.